Hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing very, very well. It's good to have you here in the workshop again. So today, what I've been doing, it's pretty late in the day already. It's already starting to get dark. But what I've been doing today is I've been doing a lot of thinking here. Because I want to make myself another forge. Forge, not as in the building, as in the actual, forge, furnace. Another gas forge that's slightly larger and has a few other features that are going to be a little bit better than what I'm usually using. So today's video is going to be a discussion and a little bit of a talk about some of the ideas that I've come up with and what I'm planning on doing tomorrow. And when you see tomorrow's video, hopefully, provided all goes well, what you're going to see is you're going to see me make this larger forge, the design that I'm talking about now. Here's the design of forge that I've been using for about a year and a half. It's very simple. All it is bricks on the underneath, KO wool on top, bricks at either end, and burners coming from the bottom. Now, a lot of you have asked to find out more about my forge, and there are a few reasons that I haven't wanted to talk about it until now. The reason I haven't talked about it is there are problems with it. There are things that need to be refined, things that need to be changed, that I'm constantly thinking about. And now is in exciting times. I really, have taken a day to just think about the forge. The things that I want to avoid on the next one is I want to avoid there being KO wool, because it's not meant to be very good for you, and I think that the cleaner the working environment that we create, the better it is long term. Another problem is that with the burners coming from the underneath, what seems to happen is the bricks, a mixture of slightly molten bricks and slag and scale from your workpiece, and then borax eating away at it all, means that what seems to actually happen quite a lot, and I have a lot of issues with it, is that all this goop, when you get the forge really hot, it soaks down, it seeps down into the cracks of the brick, which is a problem, because into the spaces between either bricks, if stuff gets in there, the bricks in the expanding and cooling are gonna shrink and the stuff's gonna fall down deeper. Then when it heats up, it expands again and gets bigger, and they all have these weird contours. I wanna avoid that on the next one, but I also wanna avoid having the burners coming from the underneath, because though it's fantastic in terms of really cutting down the space that it takes up and keeping it nice and neat and compact, the problem is that goop does seep down into the burner holes. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be avoiding on the next design. So here was one of the big problems that I was having with this, is that it would all goop down, and you'll see there's a big old piece of goo right here that's completely obstructing the burner orifice. That's a big problem. That's something that I really can't have happen on the next ones. So what does that mean that I'm going to be doing on this one? Well, it's going to be a design that incorporates no KO wool, only insulation bricks, if at all possible, and is going to have burners coming in from the top. This, obviously being a larger forge, I'm going to have two 1-inch burners. They're going to come in from the top, and they're going to be a little bit either side. We're going to walk over to the whiteboard, and I'm going to show you a little bit, sketch up a little bit of what it is that I'm thinking. Okay, so this is roughly what the forge is going to look like. This is what I have in my mind's eye. So, if I can draw, and now let me first add the caveat, I'm a terrible drawer. So, the front of the forge is going to be the opening. Okay, let's see if this starts to make any sense as I go from here. So it's going to consist of a plate on the front. Inside here is contained one soft fire brick. There we go. And then across the top is going to be one large soft fire brick. 28 grade, so 2800 degrees Fahrenheit grade insulation bricks. Now, on the top, off to front and back, and pointing in opposing directions, I'm gonna have burners going off, and they are gonna be each angled, and they're each gonna be angled about 30 degrees from perpendicular or so, maybe 45 if I feel like getting a little crazy with the drilling of the holes in the brick. Now, I practiced drilling these holes, and I'm gonna show you what it is that I came up with. So here we go. There is a hole for the burner orifice. That one is square and straight down, just to see if it could work. And then this one is at that 30-degree angle that we want. And that fits my burner nozzle just fantastically. And it's interesting, when you're drilling these bricks, the key seems to be don't clamp it down, because you're putting a lot of pressure on it, and go very gently and at a very slow speed. They're pretty expensive bricks, so you want to try and avoid breaking them. Sending a flame, one near the front, one near the back, at that kind of angle, which is, you know, hopefully not going to be creating too much of a hot spot, and it'll dissipate the flame to a larger area to get a better even heat. Now, the back of the forge I'm not going to have open. What I will have at the back of the forge, if we're just to look at the back, is I'm going to have a probably 2-inch square cutout. And this is going to be, you know, my exhaust for the forge, because naturally you do want to be able to let stuff pass out of there if you have the front completely closed. And it's going to mean if I ever do want to do anything long, or if I'm using it to do any Damascus billets, I at least can poke a 2-inch square through the back of the forge. Now, on the front of the forge, the plan is to be able to create a lifting door. And so the way that I'm likely going to do this, it's either going to be with pulleys, but what I want is I want this whole unit to be able to lift up and move around, and be able to, you know, lift up, take off the base, and put it on another forge, or put a smaller one on the base. And so what I'm going to do, likely instead of having pulleys and a foot treadle, which would be very nice, is I'm probably going to have a pivot point up here, which goes down onto a lever, which will come across here, which will be attached to a brick. So I will likely have a pivot point up here with a lever that I can lift up and cam on a piece with little kind of whatchamawhatsits that I can, you know, set it down on, so that I can have this either an inch high or all the way down or all the way at the top completely and fully open. This is going to be nice, saves having to touch the bricks, and this will be a brick that's encased in steel, just to kind of, you know, make it a little more durable. And it should work pretty well. I'm thinking that this is going to be a nice little unit that I can, you know, lift up, move around, you know, nice and compact, and it's going to be pretty large, you know, enough to probably put 3 12-pound hammer blanks in, and with 2 1-inch burners, that should be just fine. So this is the general concept, and what that's going to involve is that's going to involve fabricating several pieces of steel. I'm going to need one front. I'm going to need one front section of steel, like that. I'm of course going to need 2 sides, and naturally I'm going to need a back, and of course I'm going to have some steel runners underneath the sides to encase the bricks on the underneath. So there are going to be some sections of flat bar, and then of course a cage to hold the brick, and I might well make the cage out of angle iron. We're going to see how that goes. Again, some more things to decide. It might just be a plate box, or maybe even some channel iron with ends on it. That would be a great idea if I can find the right piece of channel iron. I might have to see about that. Might have to run to the steel supplier and see if they have anything that's the right size for a brick. And so it should be a pretty simple build, just a case of welding it all together, drilling. Well, I'm probably going to flame cut some holes in the forge box itself, and then it's just simply a case of drilling the holes at an angle in the large insulating bricks. These are the small ones. Drilling the holes at an angle in the large insulating bricks, making up this system, and mortaring the bricks together, then giving them a coat of zirconium paint. I think it should be a pretty good forge. Hopefully it's going to be successful, and I'm certainly going to let you know if it isn't successful. I'll let you know my thoughts along the way, and, you know, naturally as I use it I'll be able to tell you what I think about it, what I think about the performance, whether I think this is a design that I'd recommend. So it's an exciting, exciting time. So this is all very exciting stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'm looking forward to showing you what I come up with tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very interesting build, and hopefully it's going to be of use and helpful to you to have these videos here. Now remember, if you're watching in the future, episode 2 is going to be up already, so go and have a look. Have a look at number 2 of this little series of building a larger gas forge. And of course, be sure to hit subscribe, and if you're a regular viewer, or if you just appreciated the video and enjoyed it, please do go ahead and hit like. That means a lot to me. And then of course, go ahead and leave a comment below. How about we comment, "That gas forge gonna be hot." Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the morning. Bye-bye.